Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Have you seen those videos about rising tuition fees, school fees in Dubai, or parents debating whether they should homeschool or not? Well, we're talking to someone living it, Canessa Mullane. She's an entrepreneur and a mom who's chosen to homeschool her kids here in Dubai. And today she's going to share what that experience is like. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
First things first, you homeschool your kids at home. What sparked that decision?
So a lot of people assume it's financially, driven.
Yeah.
It's not. It wasn't for us, not yet though, because I just felt like I wanted to have more control over what my kids were learning and what they were doing.
Yeah.
And we are an entrepreneurial family and we travel a lot. And I noticed last year I left my kids at home a lot. Like I felt like they're not part of my journey. And I just looked for ways on how can I include them, because traveling is actually cool. You learn a lot. And I was, whenever we were able to travel, I was able to teach them on, a lot of life skills on how life worked outside there and, and with different cultures. How do you negotiate? How do you speak to, people who don't speak your language? I felt like that was more useful in life. But the academics were useful too, so there was kind of a debate. And then I started looking for options, and I made it work through homeschooling.
Very interesting. We're so excited to kind of deep dive into this with you. So, so it's a relatively new decision. Did you face kind of maybe any pushback or doubts from family, friends, the school even? Like, was there anyone that made you doubt your decision when you made it?
I think it's natural to doubt it because I grew up in, the regular school system. My husband, same. We kind of feel like we're taking I have to emphasize on that. We feel like it's not the right decision simply because we don't know it. It's new. We're not familiar to it. But in reality, it's working. The kids are calmer, from what I notice. Like I said, we have control over what they learn. We add extra, things, classes, whatever we feel like is best, like learning how to manage your money, for example.
Amazing.
Simple thing.
So
it sounds simple, but it's so important. So they go to the shop, for example, we have a private teacher. So they go to the shop. She teaches them how to pay, what change is like, because they're quite young. Because they ask for a lot of things, and then you have to confront them like, okay, but you have to pay, and this is the amount of money that you have. How are you going to do that? So, little things like that, we added to the basic curriculum, I should say, the academic. So we have control, and just they are developing so fast all of a sudden. So it's I think emotion-wise, I'm still trying to adjust, but it's going well. It's heading in the right direction.
That's encouraging.
That's really good. Can you elaborate more? How does the process look like? So what time do they wake up? How many hours of the day do they have the homeschooling thing? Can you explain how the whole process looks like?
So this is where it gets, this is what we have to adjust, honestly, because you have so much freedom. And sometimes freedom is, it sounds cool, but the moment you have it, you have to do everything yourself. So this is where you doubt yourself, I guess. So just to elaborate, the kids are not home all day. So we chose to send them to, we call it a learning hub, meaning that there is a facility where they can go to socialize and just to follow the curriculum while they're there. But it's not mandatory. And that's where the flexibility and the freedom comes in.
Okay.
So we chose to send them twice a week each. So we have 2 homeschooling kids. So on Monday, Wednesday, one goes, I think it's Mali Shay's turn, my daughter, and the other day Memphis goes. He's my son. Yeah. And on the day that Mali stays home, we have the private teacher who comes in and teaches her.
Yeah.
In our classroom, we have a classroom in our house. And this is the system that we chose. So they're not home all day. They still socialize, but they're still, they're also home. And when they're home, we actually, the teacher came in and she's like, "What time do you want to start?" I was like, "I don't know." whenever you think is best. But she's like, no, this is your decision. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So you have to figure things out as you go. So
Yeah.
they start at 9 a.m. at home.
Okay.
And then how did you decide on curriculum? And then does that curriculum match up with the Learning Hub curriculum? How does that
You
work?
have homeschooling schools, actually.
Okay.
Basically online schools. So they have a curriculum. In our case, it's an American curriculum. We always followed the British curriculum, so this also just, was a huge adjustment. But they follow a curriculum already. So it's an online school with a learning hub, which isn't mandatory. So we could be anywhere in the world and follow this curriculum. But the most important part is that they finish all their work in their school environment, which is online. So we follow that, but there's no strict timeline, like you have to be online at this time, you have to do this and this. You just have to, they work with deadlines, I should say.
Yeah.
So you have to finish your schoolwork by this date and time, and that's it.
Okay. They have strict deadlines basically as well.
The deadlines are strict, but it's like you have a lot of time to finish it.
And so you mentioned a Learning Hub and also a private teacher for 2 kids. So first of all, what age are your kids and how much is it costing per child per year, do you think? Do you know?
So the homeschooling, the school itself, meaning the online school, costs somewhere between 20 and 25,000 dirhams per year per child, which is
Just for the school?
Just for the school.
Just for the online?
Yes, but including the Learning Hub. So you can also choose not to send them to the Learning Hub.
Okay.
Yeah.
Many kids, I think, don't even live in Dubai, so it's just online, and I think it's far less. But with the Learning Hub, 2 or 3 times a week, it's around 25.
25. And then the teacher as well?
So the teacher was our decision, simply because I felt like I don't have the patience to. I think
I used to teach. I get it.
yeah, you used to teach. I think it's easier to teach someone else's child than your own because I don't know.
Have that, sympathy. It's like, oh.
Yeah, no, I really don't have that. I noticed that. Like, I don't, with my own kids at least, I didn't have the patience to explain twice. Well, I know that they understood, I think it's a mom thing, I don't know. But we hired a private teacher. She comes in 3.5 hours a day for 4 days. And believe it or not, that's more than enough because you compress all all classes basically in 3 hours, including breaks, and
amazing.
It's fine.
But if they're at home and they feel like they're in their safe zone, do you feel like they might get distracted a bit, like to go get a snack, to maybe get up and watch something?
That would be a fear, I think, if I wanted to homeschool my kids, that they would just be like, I'm just going to play PlayStation. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. I'm tired as well. Go play.
And this is where the private teacher comes in. She disciplines them basically because she has those 3.5 hours and she has to finish the work in those 3.5 hours. So I don't think they ask her for PlayStation or anything.
They don't?
I don't know, honestly, because I try to keep my distance as well. I don't want to be like a helicopter mom, as they call it.
Yeah.
But I think she kind of knows, like, this is what needs to be done. And if they finish it, fine, go play your PlayStation, But if you don't, then there are consequences. We also try to be very modern in parenting because I'm not trying to limit screens too much because this is their future. It's not like I don't know how old you are. This is gonna get. I'm in danger zone now.
No. But we didn't grow up with screens as well.
Yeah, we grew up in a different time, and they grow up with AI, and I don't know. Everything is on a screen, so I try to guide them in a healthy. I don't know if that even exists.
Yeah, maybe
honestly,
adapting to like the new generation, basically. That maybe our parents struggle to adapt to as well.
And even more interesting, AI. I just mentioned AI. Somebody mentioned to me, like, do you want to teach them AI engineering? I said, I don't think I have a choice, but I don't know what it is, honestly.
Yeah.
But I do think I have to include AI. I have to teach them, like, okay, this is AI and this is real.
Right.
Like, you have to know the difference. But how do I teach? Sometimes I don't even know.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like, yeah, believing like false information, like how to
Yes.
pinpoint it sometimes. Because we fall for fake AIs and it's just going to
Yes.
get more developed as they grow up. So maybe like
Yes, it's-
spotting fake news, fake AI, fake videos
And
that
not
you see
just that,
online.
also, you know, getting to like learn how to deal with social media. You know,
Yeah.
in our days, I know, well, I grew up in Holland, in Amsterdam, and a lot of girls and boys were affected by, you know, how people reacted online. You know, the feedback that you get online, the way people. I want to teach them, like, you know, how people respond online is not the same as reality. That you don't
very
have
true.
to. It doesn't have to affect you. But how do you teach that? Because honestly, we never been through it. Nobody taught us. We learned along the way.
True. And we were a bit older as well when we were introduced with social media, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They understand it. They understand social media, but I don't think they understand the like what the consequence, I should say, or
Yes,
what could
yeah.
come
I think the
out of
word,
it.
yeah.
But I don't understand it either. So it's a generation gap, and especially, like I said, AI. But we
Yeah.
have to teach them.
Right, it's
I don't
learning.
want them to find out and. You know, I don't know what
gonna
it will
happen.
happen. Yeah, I don't know what the effect will be on them,
Sure.
True.
and it's scary in a way.
The whole AI thing freaks me out.
Yeah.
For sure. But I wonder, because it's a relatively new decision for your family
Yes.
to homeschooling, what was the adjustment period like for your kids? Have they responded?
So in the beginning, Mali, my daughter, Mali Shea is her name, and we call her Mali. She kind of, still she says this to me, like she says, I miss my friends. I said, do you miss school or do you miss your friends? It's a difference. And she said, no, I want to see my friends at, and then she mentions her school. And I'm like, I can not help but feel guilty a little bit because I feel like you take that away from her. But then again, it's new. She has friends at this learning hub.
True.
Yeah, she gets to know a lot of people. But it's hard as a parent because you feel like, oh, but I took that away from them. Does that make sense?
I think I understand where you're coming from, but I also think that you made the decision for their best interests.
Yes.
It's like we were talking about the international school trips last week, and
Yeah.
it's like there's some schools in Dubai are suggesting they want to bring the 13-year-old grades to an international school trip, and some of the moms are like, it's too young, so they would feel that guilt for not letting their kids go. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's a decision made in the best interests as far as the parents' beliefs go.
Yeah. And, you know, so I said, I don't have the patience to teach, but I do teach them a little bit of what we know, what we do. So
Yeah.
my husband is a finance professional. He's a tax accountant. So he basically knows everything about money management. I think we missed that.
Yeah, we did,
In
yeah.
the school curriculum.
For sure,
Yeah.
We don't have any. I mean, we learned along the way, but my
Do
husband
we?
was
We-
like,
we don't.
yeah, maybe we still don't know.
I don't know how
learning.
to manage financially, honestly. Just
No,
trying to
but
adapt.
he explains to them. It's so interesting because sometimes I just sit and learn as well. He teaches them like how banks work, you know, how loans work, and he teaches them by, you know, it's like, for example, just to give you an example, I teach them how marketing works because that's what I do, and I teach them like you have to promote your product if you want people, you know, to know and how that works. And then they're like, okay, but I want a product to sell. I said, okay, we can work on that, but you need money for that. Yeah, but how do I get money? And then they go to their dad and he basically gives them these loans and he actually makes them sign, you know, like saying like, okay, but you have to give me back this money by then and then. Otherwise, these are the consequences. And of course, they don't fully understand, but he makes them sign and he actually reminds them every time, like, do you know that this will happen if you... Okay.
What business do they want to start with their money from the loan?
Mali said she wants to start selling napkins.
Okay.
Yeah, because she saw them at restaurants and they were plain white and she says that's boring. I said, okay, change
You know
something.
what? Fact, you know that.
Yeah.
And she
I need some
actually
boring.
has a whole name for it and she's like, because she asked
I
what
see
is...
it, Mali. I see it. As a
Okay, let's go, Mali.
I do.
No, she says, she asked me, what is this? I said, it's a napkin for your lap. And she said, so it's a lap nap? I said, yes, and why are they white and boring? I said, I don't know. So you can change it if you
Why
want.
are they white and boring? That's
Yes.
so true. Like,
Yeah, I never thought about it. I said, go for it. So now she needs money for lap naps.
A lap nap. If anyone's
Lap
looking
nap.
for
Lap nap, Mali will bring it to you soon.
I want pink ones.
if anyone wants to invest in a startup, we've got it. Okay.
Yeah, her dad knows how to do it. So. And Memphis wants hoodies. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Competitive.
No, he's
Two different
into
industries,
maths
yeah?
and science and everything I'm not into. So he wants hoodies because he feels like hoodies are boring as well, apparently. So he wants hoodies with maths equations on it.
Okay.
Cool.
Alternative.
Well, best of luck to those two.
I might learn as well
learning
while he
small
wears.
businesses. That's
Thank you.
amazing. That is amazing.
You mentioned that you might feel guilty taking them out of a normal schooling system because of maybe socializing. This is what a lot of parents might be hesitant about because they think sending them to schools will have them learn that, how to socialize, how to get out of your comfort zone. But do you think that they may be struggling a bit, or maybe they're becoming a bit too comfortable surrounding themselves around with you, the parents, their siblings, or they still get that experience of communicating and socializing with other people?
So our kids still go to after-school activities.
Mm-hmm.
They still have activities that they do in order to get to know other kids. But I do understand the concern, and the big difference with schools, with traditional school, sending them to traditional school is that you don't have to think about that aspect. Now I have to make an effort myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what scares parents in a way, which I understand because we're already busy. So much is expected from us already. Why add that to my plate while there is already a system? So I get it. But I think on the long run, I do think this is best simply because I know where my kids are all day and what they're influenced by. Especially Memphis, he really struggled with communication, finding that his way of, communicating with others because he's not really the best at that. And he calls himself actually a nerd because he thinks it's a good word. It's like cool to be a nerd. I'm like, okay, that's different from my era, but okay, let's go with that. But he's like, yeah, other people don't understand my equations, so they're stupid. I'm like, no, ma'am, that's not the way you communicate with others. You cannot say that. Yeah, but they don't know the answer to 1025 times, 365. I don't know either.
Does he know this?
Yes, he knows that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Smart
because in his
genius.
free time, in his spare time, he just does equations all day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a mad genius, but you cannot expect others to be the same. So, these little things are sorted when you're homeschooling, you homeschool and you have extra activities that you go through to with the similar, like-minded people. So, yeah, it pros and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons.
Pros and cons. And look, you mentioned at the beginning of this interview that it wasn't a financial decision for your family. However, school fees in Dubai and the price of them is a big topic. And I think people are actually looking more towards homeschooling. So you sharing your story at this moment is very interesting to people. And I just wonder, before you leave us, would you have any piece of advice that you would give to parents in Dubai who are considering homeschooling but afraid to take the next step?
The socializing aspect, you will figure it out. It takes time, but you will figure it out because there's a lot to do for kids, in Dubai at least. But I think anywhere in the world, you just have to make that effort. And in terms of school fees, I understand, honestly. Yeah. I understand. Our structure is not the cheapest, so private teacher and such is quite expensive, I would say. But what you can do, for example, is hire a teacher and maybe find other homeschooling kids in the area and, create a group with maybe 3-4 kids that will, make it digestible. And you still get the same quality, honestly, because one teacher with 4 or 5 kids is still good, I would say. So there are middle grounds. You just have to put in the effort yourself and figure it out yourself. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. And you don't have to look for the justification. if that makes sense. So nobody has to give you green light or red light, but you just have to look at your kids. Are they developing? Are they doing well? What are they missing? Every element can be added, but in return you get so much freedom. You can do whatever you want. You can even wake up whenever you want, although I wouldn't advise that. Just keep a limit. So in our case, we start at 9 a.m., which is still late.
There's no commute. I mean,
there's no. Yes, I forgot about that.
Oh God!
But it's a genuine thing for parents in Dubai. Their kids are getting up at 5 a.m. They're getting on a bus at 6. They're on a bus for an hour and a half. Like the commute is a big.
Yes, I forgot
for
about
some,
that.
for some
Yes.
parents here.
So we still have that to the learning hub if we feel like going. And lately, I am kind of doubting whether it's a good decision or not, because going there, it's near the Palm. It's a challenge.
Oh no, the traffic in the morning is.
Yeah, and it's just we lose. That's the only moment I feel as a parent where I want to be present. Because they get picked up by their nanny and everything else, they have their own schedules. So I really want the drop-off moment, I really want to be there for them and with them. But it takes me 2 hours, 2 whole hours to get there and then get out and get my coffee also. Somewhere in between. It's just a lot of time.
It is a lot.
Wasted.
Well, thank you for sharing your experience with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Massa.
Thank you, Casey.
And that is the end of the Lovin Dubai show on this Tuesday morning. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.